Hello everyone, welcome to Programming and More YouTube channel. Today we are going to see how to implement Google Sign-in in our websites. The technologies which we are going to use are Node.js and MongoDB. So first let me explain what is happening here. When the user clicks on the sign in button, he will be asked to sign in, and if and the backend checks if any account exists in our database with that email. If there is one account, then a JWT token will be generated and we'll get that token to the front end. But if there is no account, then a new account with that email has to be created. Let us see how it is going. We'll do everything from scratch, so I'm removing all of the code. And please go to the Google and search Google sign in for website and go to the first website, which is developers.google.com. Click on get started, then you'll be redirected here, and scroll a little down. Then we'll see all of the steps for this. The first step is to create authorization credentials. That is, click on this link. Let me open it in a new tab. So the first step is to create OAuth client ID using console.cloud.google.com. So click on this create credentials button, then select OAuth client ID. To do this, you have to set up one project. If you are not done, please set up that. Then the application type is web application. This name can be anything. And authorized JavaScript origins. This we have to set up. Click on add URI. Here we have to add the server from where we are making GET request. So let us add the server, which the origin which I'm going to use today is http://localhost:5500, and scroll down and then click on create. This will save your details, and here we can see our client ID and client secret. Now let us close this and go to the previous one. So this step is done, the second one is done. So we are done with creation of authorization credentials. Now let's scroll down. So the next step is to load the Google Platform Library, which we can do by including this code in our HTML page, that is in our front end. For that, for now I'm using a simple HTML file. This is the HTML tag, and inside HTML tag we have one head tag, title, Google sign in something, and here let us include this script tag, which is must for our application. Okay, this is app.js. Yes, let me select autosave. Yes, so we have to load this library platform.js into our application. Then the next step is to specify our client ID to front end, which we can do by including this meta tag. in our head of HTML. We have to replace your underscore client underscore ID with our client ID, which we can do by going to the credentials page and selecting the web client which we created previously. And here we can copy the client ID. Please copy the client ID and go to the editor and paste it into the content attribute. So we are done with this step. The next step is to add a Google sign-in button. This is also simple. When we include this tag, then automatically this sign-in button, this default sign-in button will be coming in our HTML page. This is because we have already imported this platform.js. So simply we have to add this tag to our body of HTML page. Inside body, we have to add this. Now we have to run this HTML file using server. Remember, this step is very important. If you do not run the HTML file with a server, then you'll not see sign-in button. This works only with servers. So I'm going to use live server for now, which is going to start server at port number 5500. So let us go to browser and open that. Now you can see Google sign-in button. So let us see what happens when I click on the Google sign-in button. Then it is asking us to log in. Let it load. Let us select this account. And now we can see it has changed to signed in. So whenever we refresh, it will automatically log in. It is required only once. Okay. Now let us see how we can get the details of Google user who has logged in. The next section is that getting profile information. So we have to make use of get basic profile method to get profile of the user. Copy this and add it to our HTML. Let us do it by creating a script tag and let us paste it inside script tag. Yes. Basically, we are creating one function name. That name can be anything, not necessarily on sign-in. And if we are using some other name, then we should pass on that name to data on success of this div, which is basically the sign-in button. What this does is actually when the user is logged in successfully, then it will call the on sign-in function. Let us see what happens with this code. So let me click on sign in, and let me inspect and see what is there on our console. In the console, we have got the email name and the image or profile of the logged in email. If we see this, we are logging ID, name, URL and mail. So like this, we can access ID, name, image and email. Please do not use ID directly because it is not safe. It's safe to use ID directly. That we will see in the next step. So the next step is signing out a user, which we can do by this .signout method, which we can implement by simply pasting this code here. Now let us go to our server for localhost 5500 and let us see what happens when we click on sign out. See, the signed in has changed to sign in. That means the user is signed out. Let me click on sign in and see, it has signed in again. So this is working. Now let us go to the next step, which is getting profile information here. We already did that. The last one is authenticating with a backend server. So I told previously that sharing ID to the backend is not safe. Here the reason is given why, you can read. Then here so we can access the ID token like by using .id underscore token member of Google, this one, Google user dot get auth response. So basically I'll simply explain it to you. We have to use this Google Auth library to verify the ID token. So let us go to the app.js file of our npm. I have initialized the node app using npm init, which we can do to get this package.json. And I have already installed bcrypt, CORS, Express, Google Auth library, JSON Web Token, MongoDB already, which you can do simply by using the command npm space I space bcrypt space CORS space Express space Google Auth library space JSON Web Token. Let me show. Okay, I'll just type here npm I Express MongoDB bcrypt CORS JSON Web Token. That's it. We have to, and the last one is Google Auth library. We have to install these. So I'm not doing it now because I have already installed them. If anything is not working, please refer these versions and please install these only in case if anything doesn't work. So let us go to the app.js and let us set up our server. To set up a server, we need Express. So let us require that, where Express equals require Express, and let us name our server app, where app equals, we should call Express function, and let us store the port number in a variable called port process.env.port, or let us do one default port 8080. Then let us say app.listen port, and we'll print which port is on which port the server is running by using a callback function. Console.log listening to and comma port. We can now let us run this using Node. I prefer running using NodeMon because it is quite easier in development phase. cd, let me navigate to that folder. Now let me run this using NodeMon. We can see the server is starting. So it is successfully listening to port number 8080. And let us see if it is working or not by setting a default route, home route, using app.get with parameters / and a callback function to specify response. So as a response, we'll send welcome to programming and more. So if we go to the console, and if we type rs, see, we can see that NodeMon is restarting due to changes. Now let us open that in the browser. Localhost port number is 8080. Yes, it is showing welcome to programming and more. That means it is working fine. So yes, here in this website we can see that we have to use OAuth2 client. So let us do this first. Let me copy that and add it in the beginning. And then we'll connect MongoDB. First we'll require it where MongoDB equals require of MongoDB. This name can be anything because it is a variable name, but this should be the package name. And we need Mongo client, which is MongoDB.Mongo client. We need one more thing, which is the URL to connect our database, which I'll add later. And we need database. Now let us go to mongodb.com and create one database. Click on browse collections. Then click on add my own data. Database name is P&M. Collection name is, let us say, users, and click on create. Now click on Atlas and click on connect. Now select connect your application. and copy this URL and paste it here. Remember, we have to replace password with the user password which we have created in the MongoDB. In my case, it is same as the username. We have to replace this password with this one. Now we have to connect a Mongo database using Mongo client dot connect, and as a parameter we have to give the Mongo URL, which is that we have copied just now. Mongo URL and a callback function which takes parameters error and let us say client. So if error, let us log error while connecting, else let us get our database. DB equals client.db of database name, which is P&M in my case, whatever may be in yours. So we are done with connecting MongoDB. Now let us see if we are getting any error or not in the console. See, there is no error. Okay, there is some error while connecting. Let us see what it is. The problem here is I did not copy it properly. Means I have not replaced it with password which is previously there. So let us see now. So now there is no error. So it has successfully connected. Okay. Yeah. Now the next step is, yes, let us see what we are getting in the front end. Go to the index. We'll go to the index.html and here we'll log. Let me undo it. Yes. Let us go here. Let us go here. Yes. We can get ID token like this by using this. Let me paste it in the code and let us see what it is. What is the ID token? Console.log ID token. And let us go to the Google sign in, the HTML server. Let us click on signed in. It is already signed in. Now click on inspect. Go to console and we can see some long token which will use to verify if the ID is correct or not, if the request is genuine or not in the backend. So here we can see we have to make this every time, right? So let us see. In our app.js, let us make one function which is async. No, this is the body of function async. Let us call it verify token. Okay, this is arrow function, so I have to keep async here, not there. Verify token equals async. Verify token equals async function of this one. So okay, I think we also need not to copy this, and let us use this same function which is here. Okay, now let us define one more route with /g authenticate, which is for Google Authenticate, g authenticate, then callback function request response, and let us make this async function. So since we have deleted that first line, let us paste the first line here. And now let us store it in, let's say, some x equals await, and let us copy this one and paste it here. We need this. So if we see here, we don't have token and client ID right now. So token, let us get from a token will receive as a query param. So which we let us get it here, where token equals request dot query dot, let us say the token key is ID token. Okay, and let us make token as a parameter and pass it here, token. And also here we have client, so, and here also we have client, so we have to pass that also as a parameter, as a argument, and we'll make it as a parameter in the function definition. Now the last thing we were missing here is client ID. So let us make one variable here where client ID equals, and let us go to our HTML file and let us copy the client ID which we have taken from Google console, Google dashboard, and paste it here. Now we have set everything. We can see here we are assigning this function call to x, but we are not returning anything in x. So let us return yes, let me comment this, and let us return this ticket.payload. Yes, okay, we'll return ticket.getPayload of that. Okay, with this we are set. Now just for verifying, just for seeing what we are getting, let us send it as a response, that is x as a response, and let us make this get call with the token which we got, which we have logged, this one. Let me copy that token, and now let us make a GET request to gauthenticate, which were defined just now, with a query param id underscore token with value the token which you have received just now, and let us see what we are getting. Okay, it is showing cannot get. Let us restart the server. Okay, now it has started restarting. Let us wait for the server to restart. Yes, now we can refresh. We can see we got a response like this. So this is how the response looks. We got our email, we got whether email is verified or not, and we got @hash. Now we'll, if the email is not registered into our database, then we'll use this @hash as our password, because see, every time you refresh it is remaining the same, which is CKH3BYZQ. See, every time we refresh, @hash is remaining the same. Of course, this SUB and JDI will also remain same every time you refresh. So let us so what you have to do is, this is basically X. So if x.email verified is true, then we means then only we can conclude that user is genuine. So if x.email underscore verified, we have to do something, and otherwise we can directly send a response that user is unauthorized. So let us send it in this way: auth true, auth false, sorry, authentication failed, and message will send as user unauthorized, something like this. If email verified is true, we have to check if there is some user in our database, which I will do simply by db.collection of, the collection name is users dot find with, I will find with email colon x.email. Find email colon x.email, and we have to create it to array. Dot to array, and we'll have a callback with parameters error and result. So if error, will throw it. If error, throw error. So now if result dot length is less than 1, we have to register the user, otherwise else we have to generate a token, which will to generate that we'll use JWT, and we'll sign that with respect to MongoDB ID, because no one actually knows that, so it will be secure. So JWT.sign of ID result of 0 dot underscore ID. we have to sign with respect to this, and let us quickly define a secret where secret equals, this is a secret something, it should be at least 32 characters, and let us pass that here, where token equals jwt dot sign of this id and secret. Then we'll send it as res dot send. Now authentication is success, so auth true token, right? That's it. But if the result dot length is less than 1, that is 0, what we have to do is we have to insert db dot collection of users dot insert of, since only one is there we can use insert one also, but I prefer doing this way. Insert of, we have 3 fields: name, email and password. Okay, so this we get from here, from Google. That is, name is x dot name, simply x dot name, x dot name, email is x dot email, okay, sorry, email is x dot email, comma, password is, we have to hash it using, I am using bcrypt, you can do in whichever way you like. Bcrypt dot hash sync, I think I have to require bcrypt here, where bcrypt equals require of bcrypt, okay, yes, there it is, yeah, password equals bcrypt dot hash sync x dot, let us see, we'll use at hash, at underscore hash, x dot at underscore hash, comma, the number of rounds of salt, which generally I use 8. Okay, sorry, here semicolon should not be there, and that's it. So after that, so we have registered him, means registered the user. Now we have to send the token JWT. So we have to do find again, collection of users dot find, similarly with now also we have to do using email only, email dot to array of error result, same if e throw e, otherwise where token equals jwt dot sign off id result of 0 dot underscore id, comma, is secret. Make sure to use the same secret as that which you used to, which we use for verifying the JWT. Okay, so we have to send this token res dot send auth true token tk. Okay, so I think this should work. Let us see if there are any errors. and let us restart the server again. Yes, it is working well. And let us make this get request again. Seems like there is some error. JWT is not defined. Okay, I did not required it. So let us make where JWT equals require of JWT. Oh, sorry, not JWT. JSON Web Token. The package name is JSON Web Token, and the variable name which we have used is JWT. Now I think it is running. Let us refresh this. Yes, now we got it is true. But we want this get request to be performed automatically. So let us add one script to that, which is okay. On sign in the on sign in function only we'll do that. We'll make a get request, and we can store it in session storage. We can store the token in session storage. So let us do that using fetch of the URL to make get request. HTTP colon / localhost colon 8080 / authenticate, and the query parameter is ID token equals the value is ID underscore token. Then we'll get response. We have to return response dot JSON. Then we have to return the data. We have to set session storage dot set item of auth token. Let us say auth token data dot token. Right? Okay. Which we can use for authentication. So let us see. Let us go to the HTML file. Let us run this using live server. Let me open that. Yes, we can see sign in button, and let us see what happens when you click. Okay, already signed in. Let me inspect. Let us go to console. I think I have to refresh it. Yes. Okay, I think we are getting failed to fetch because of access control allow origin. Okay. We have to use one package called CORS. So let us do that. Where CORS equals require. I'm not installing the packages because I have already installed it in the beginning. Please install all of the packages while importing them into the app.js file. Now there is no such error. Let me read. Okay, the server still did not restart. Let us wait for the server to restart. Okay, now let us refresh again. Okay, set item 2 arguments are required, but only one. I think a comma. I missed a comma. Okay, I set as an object, but we have to pass as 2 arguments, right? Now let me refresh it. Okay, auth token is not defined. Okay, I have to set it as a string, right? Yes, now it should work. I think it has worked. Let us see in session storage dot auth token. Yes, we have our auth token here. Now it is working, right? So thank you for watching this, and thank you for bearing with me on my first video. Please hit the like button if you really like this, and click on subscribe button for more updates. Thank you.